the second video that I'll be uploading to this channel. The thumbnail, by the way, will be one from 2020. Today's date is June 23rd, 2023. It's going to be me with long hair, with a joint in my mouth. I highly advise not to do that. Any sort of addictions, any sort of vices, get those out of the way. It's a distraction. This video is going to be about comparing the now and the before. Now, you can't go back to the past, and we shouldn't be worrying about the future. Focus on the present time right now. I'm on the road, I'm driving to my next destination. Like I was in the last video, I've got a destination to go to. And in the meantime, might as well take a look back, say 10 to 15 years. So much has changed. The now and then. What was once good and acceptable may not be unacceptable anymore. People change, tastes change. They start asking questions with more education. The more we learn, the more we teach, the more we grow. As long as we keep the good morale, positive mindset, an abundant mindset, that's what I was missing, or maybe you were missing that back then. It's important to have that. What does that mean? It's to keep your horizons going, broaden your horizons. Maybe I mentioned that in the last video. It could be you're lost at this moment in time, but you won't be in 2 years. Maybe you won't be in 5 years. In my case, even 10 years ago, I had no idea what was going on. And that has to do with brain development, with sort of teaching and knowledge that is applied to human behavior, psychology, and culture, society. You learn that people may not be who they are supposed to be, or they're just there temporarily to teach you a lesson. You hear the old saying, you're either a blessing or a lesson in someone's life. Very rarely it's both. You could say, I wasn't sure how to conduct myself back then that I do now. People go through depersonalization, which is a sort of out-of-body pseudo-psychological experience, along with whatever they're dealing through. Sometimes psychotic episodes, personality disorders, a whole different topic about that I too am still learning, which you should as well. Maybe you need to be diagnosed with something for you to understand and learn, hey, yes, I admit to have that. How about I learn from journals, academic scholars, there's the internet. Now, don't take that everything with a grain of salt. There's limitations, and verify who you're actually getting that source from. But we were so naive back then. We had no idea what was going on, and that's only normal because we lack experience. It goes back to knowledge and just the know-how, the self-esteem. Sometimes we are shy. We missed opportunities. We waited too long, in my case. And complete game changer. Like I said, I went through this program in 2018. I buried myself, my former false self, which is just how I project myself onto the world. You probably do the same if you have insecurities, deep-rooted, traumas, childhood traumas, whatever the case may be. Maybe you just need a pep talk. You need someone to listen to. Maybe you need, sometimes therapy is not always the case. People go through therapy, they bounce around like it's a nightclub. Oh, I'm going to go to this doctor, that doctor doesn't work, they don't understand. They're going to go to the next doctor. They're going to tell them something else. Even might prescribe them medication that they don't need. Had to seek information. Had to, when things happen, you question, okay, maybe take a step back, control yourself, and seek information. And that's why widely available in the data information age we're in now, easy as hell. But like I said, went through a program. Maybe you need to go through a program too, and hold your cross. And you will suffer. You will have to be isolated. No, before 2020 and before that became the norm, I was a year and a half in advance with that program. Why? Because I faced my fears. You have to face your fears in life, or else you won't grow, or else you won't be able to kill the false self. And again, you might be wondering, well, how can I have a false self? Well, sometimes it's you being an actor to other people for just not displaying your real self because you're vulnerable, you may be needy or emotional. It's okay. It's fine. But as long as you got the proper education and find out if you do have something, it's okay to admit it. People sometimes, personality disorders, I brought that back. And there's all a slew, but it boils down to cluster B personality disorder. And people have type A personality, type B. Depends their motives, their goals. If they're just looking for attention, they're not getting enough attention, they're missing substance in their life. They're hollow. It's an empty shell. Nobody's home. I brought the concept of therapy. Therapy is not for you to fix the house. It's for you to demolish it and build from the ground up again. That's what therapy's for. Therapy's for you to, instead of having the mirror look at yourself, they turn the mirror around to you and say, hey, look at you and look at your faults and go and improve that. No, you're not 100% fixable, but you could rebuild. And that was one of my, speaking out of experience, one of my issues, one of my problems, that I was never, maybe it's the same for you, you weren't admitted to a rebuild. This happens in companies, management structures, businesses, just simple, elementary foundations. But sometimes it's okay to restart. I use those words that I don't like to use, but they come out. Isolation. Maybe you have to stay away from some people. Do you get that feeling when you're around people in your gut, in your chest? Maybe your heart races a little more. Is there something you want to say, but you don't want to anger them? Then it's not worth it saying because you might not want to cause conflict, so it's not worth it. Yeah, been there, done that. But there's coaching. You have to just avoid these coaching and go straight to scholars, professors, and they're not God either. They don't know it all. They make mistakes. You might not agree with them, but you might create a sense of position to, okay, I could build upon that. Okay, that's starting to make sense. I'm getting some answers. You might not agree with that person, but don't stick straight to that person. Look at the various sources and then create a collage, but you have to witness that for yourself. Brought back isolation. Maybe you have to avoid certain people. It's for the best. Maybe those type of people might not like that, but if it's for your own good, then why not? Who cares what other people think in the end? But going back again, my thesis of this video of 10 to 15 years ago, while we were just kids. It's normal to be kids, but are you an adult at home and then a kid in your academic environment? Are you just getting this attention because you're not getting it at home, or then you go to school and you create havoc? Personally, in my case, I had very bad asthma as a kid. I used to be hospitalized maybe once a month, and that used to delay my progress in school. That's why I always used to get taken out of the class. I used to destroy my self-esteem, people looking at you. But thinking all this, maybe that was an awakening that started an awakening for a foundation for the future, saying, why me? How come I'm getting pulled out of these situations? That's a form of isolation for the best. And maybe it was silly at the time. I have to admit, some of these, it just needed a quiet environment. Maybe you needed to be with less people, and you just gather your team and you ride off into the sunset with success, or you try to claim success. There will be failures along the way. There will be speed bumps. There will be setbacks. You just have to take everything into consideration and work around it. Sometimes you're going to ask out that girl, and then it's not the end of the world if she says no. You actually did it. Good for you. Maybe that was something you had to overcome. I'm right now alone. I'm going on the road, meeting a couple of guys, but sometimes just doing some of these videos here has an impact on maybe my viewers, of whoever's going to watch this in the near future. It's an evergreen content. It's nothing that's going to go out of style. This is going to, if even in 100 years when I'm gone, even if I decide not to have kids, or if I have the next successor of generations out of the air, who knows? This will always remain up. But in the end, you notice that I noticed, maybe you might notice this too. Drama always starts with other people, and it came to me. Okay, do you really honestly think that by sitting down yourself, learning, maybe teaching, growing, is going to cause any drama? It's always by proxy. It's always by third party. It rarely does, or in my case, just as an example, that I go ever fetch out for drama. It's always because of other people trying to injure me. But you can't blame shift like that. You have to be accountable for your actions. You need to be accountable for your responsibilities, and you can't blame other people. They give you sometimes a deck of cards. You got to work with the cards you have. But again, going back 10 to 15 years, looking over just an overview, yeah, people sometimes don't know what they want immediately. In our teenage years, asking, what do you want to be? And people just improvising on the fly, saying nonsense and all these grandiose fantasies of who they're going to become. But how can you be recognized in a world of 8 billion people? Now in this country here, 40 million. You might be wondering where I am at this moment in time. It's difficult. It's tough to stand out. That's why people constantly seek attention by the validation of others, because they don't feel, keyword feel, that they're recognized, they're noticed. As you grow older, you'll grow out of it. If you're in your teenage years, okay, you might want to be validated. Maybe you're having issues at home, it's fine. And then you go externally in school to be validated. It just doesn't work in the long term. Am I happy, and I brought this up, I think, in the last video. Are you happy if you look back 10 years and now 10 years later saying, did I do what I wanted to do? Did I get to achieve some goals? Yes and no. You're not all gonna have everything I thought, I was gonna maybe, you might think to yourself, hey, I thought I was gonna be somewhere else, and then you happen to not, and you have to go through some stuff. But the good news is that with perseverance, with confidence, with a smile on your face, and it gets back to the mindset, you're not going to be able to do nothing by just sitting around moping, crying, and then others around you projecting their garbage onto you. Get that garbage off. If you need to, go no contact, go your own way. Was taught that. Don't be scared. Don't have fear. You have so many people doubting you, creating these scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? Forget it. Just do it. If you fall flat, rebuild or retool on the fly. You don't have to go through a rebuild. Sometimes you have to kill that false self, the one who you were projecting onto others, and then you say to yourself, hey, maybe it wasn't needing to act like this. Maybe I didn't have to overreact or dramatize, and you get an awakening again. But you put yourself first, second and third. That's very important. Video's now 15 minutes. We'll end it off. I'll go back for a couple of minutes. But to conclude, be well, be safe. Look out after your health. I had a little setback myself too. Got stronger, was waiting for this moment, and I'm going to now driving to a destination, a goal, which everyone needs to set goals. Going to the grocery store, that's a goal. So you get fed, you don't die. Taking a shower is a goal. Getting up out of bed is a goal. You got up. A lot of people can't even get out of bed. My point coming across: don't give up. Don't lose. Can't sell hope, but don't lose faith. Have a sense of higher being. If that's not your thing, well, believe in yourself. Say that you will take that to the next level, no matter what people say, the naysayers. And what you need to do is go about your business and develop yourself. And this is not just all ends are just beginnings. That's the video.